Rachel.
And I'm Hannah.
Welcome to the RAD Report, a podcast born out of the nonprofit Ride at Dawn.
In the coming episodes, you will hear real life truths from victims and professionals who have incredible stories of overcoming abuse, finding healing, and building a better industry for our kids in it.
These stories will not be easy to hear. They are even harder to live through. Please use discretion and your own judgment on if you are in a place to listen and absorb these stories.
Our goal for this podcast is to give our guests the stand and a chance to tell their story the way that they want to, uninterrupted and unscripted.
Glad you're here. Please let us know what you think of this episode and comment the questions you want us to ask our guest on the follow-up episode.
Enjoy.
I'm Samantha Lynch. I live here in Stillwater, or I'm from here in Stillwater, and I've been in social work for almost 3 years.
I'm Brennan Streikax from all over Oklahoma. I have been a social worker for a year now.
I'm Jade. I'm technically from Depew, Oklahoma, and I live here now, and I've been a social worker for a year now.
We are good with whatever y'all want to talk about. Sam had some really great points that she made about some of the questions y'all sent over.
Awesome.
Perfect. What is the most common sign of abuse that the public completely overlooks?
I think basic neglect would be my answer.
Yeah, because it can take so many different forms.
And with basic neglect, it's not having the right resources that you need, whether that's not being able to provide a safe environment for your kid, food, housing, medical needs. Trying to think where else. Educational neglect.
Yeah.
That's a big one that gets overlooked. Kids miss too many days, and sometimes the school overlooks that, or sometimes parents don't realize how many days they've missed. And then we're not seeing a kid regularly at that school. So
I think also, too, I think there's so many different services out there that people don't even know that are available to help them. I mean, and DHS has such a bad stigma that they're afraid to even reach out to us to say, hey, I got this going on in my life. What can I do? Or is there anything available?
What are some of those that are available?
Everybody knows the normal housing, but we can get, if you're having trouble disciplining your kids or you need ideas, because not every form of discipline, timeout doesn't work for every kid. Sending them to their room doesn't always work. You can take everything away. So there's community-based services that we can actually request and that will come into the home and say, okay, let's work on this. Or sometimes, I worked with a family recently that has an autistic child that didn't realize that she qualified for services for speech and occupational therapy, and she didn't realize that those services were available or who to ask.
And then I learned about a new community-based service today that's called True Dads. Have you ever used that one?
Mm-mm.
It's in Oklahoma City area, and it's like counseling services for families, and it's for the whole family. And it's on Saturdays. It's every Saturday. They provide breakfast and lunch, and it's sitting around in a circle with a whole bunch of other families that you talk about what's going on, and there's therapists there that are talking about ways to cope, ways to discipline your child, and just different resources that are available there in their area. And so it was actually a client that told me about it, and this client told me that he was able to get help with some food resources through them.
What was it called again?
True Dads.
Kids' demeanors. Things that they do are it takes a lot to notice it. It could be from attachment styles. Healthy and too much attachment is a sign. We have the kids who are withdrawn, who don't like social, tend to be by themselves at school, which is why it's always important to ask school, what do they like when in class? Option. There's just very minimal signs that you can look at a kid and be like, okay, there might be something happening in the house that we might need to look at, but you have to know what you're looking for.
And on the flip side of that, you can also read too much into it. There's, I think, more now we need to educate parents in the community as to what is normal behavior for a kid versus what's concerning behavior for a kid. Because they can be very similar and they can be very different.
Well, and then over-disciplining. Over-discipline is huge.
Mm-hmm.
And I know last time we talked about, you have to walk away, take a breath. But sometimes it's hard for parents to remember to do that. And so talking to them about ways to think about that's one of the massive things we see is we end up in a home because a kid has a bruise. And it's because they were getting disciplined and it was taken too far. But it's not that they weren't valid in the discipline. It was that they didn't take that breath and take a moment to say, okay, what's too much?
To piggyback off that, another one that's also overlooked is unrealistic expectations for your child. If you're expecting way too much out of your child and they're 3 years old and you're saying, let's talk a full sentence right now, that's unrealistic expectation, puts a stressor on a kid. Now they feel like they're not doing enough, or that their parents don't love them, or that they're disappointed. There's a lot of different forms of abuse and neglect, and it happens in tiers.
I saw a case where they expected a 3 and 4-year-old to do their own diabetes medication fully. They were supposed to monitor their own sugar levels, tell parents if they needed something, give their own insulin. They're 3 and 4. That's too high of expectations for their little minds.
And the tests are the poking the finger.
Poking the finger, injecting the insulin into the right spots. Like, it's just too much for those little minds.
Then as adults, we struggle.
That's what I was going to say. There's adults that can't get that right.
You ever been assaulted in any way, threatened, followed, stalked, or feared for your safety?
Girl, what? Yes.
All right, walk us through what that feels like and how DHS workers are protected.
I will say the law enforcement in Payne County, like we have a great working relationship with Stillwater PD, Payne County Sheriff's Department, Perkins Police Department. I've actually been lectured by some of the officers because in my mind, if I'm going out, there's certain situations where we have to take law enforcement with us just in case things do escalate. But I've actually had them look at me and go, why did you do this by yourself? Well, because sometimes you escalate the situation.
Exactly.
Just you being there.
Triggers people.
But yeah, how are we? Listen, the thing about DHS workers, we're not allowed to carry anything to protect ourselves.
No.
Shanks, no pepper spray, no cutters. We're raw dogging it, going to the door.
No, I like the first thing. No shanks.
That's what I would do.
Yeah.
What I have is my keys and
Same.
yeah,
And we're not even supposed to weaponize like our own keys, pins, nothing.
not a
Learning the value of de-escalation is probably the best thing. Like these two can attest. I can de-escalate just about any situation.
You can de-escalate the way you escalate.
But I've always told any new worker that goes out with me, if we're ever in a situation that I can't talk my way out of, we're in a bad situation and we need to start looking for the exits because it's a bad situation.
And that's one thing we're taught is you never let someone get between you and your only exit.
Parking your cars is important too.
Yeah.
Where you park your cars, park it on the side of the street where you can get out as quickly as possible.
Don't let
Either that,
anyone bluff
or
you
you're
in.
backing in somewhere because if you got to get up and go, you got to get up and go.
I've
And
backed into someone's yard because there was no other option unless I wanted to be blocked in.
So do they have extensive training when you first go on board with DHS?
I don't know, like extensive is like I worked or
Our in the field training is probably the best training
yes,
because we go out with experienced workers or our de-escalation workers who we watch. Like we were in a house one time and I mean, I was looking around thinking, okay, how are we going to get out of here? This is really bad. And she talks her way out of it like it's nothing.
When you say really bad, what kind of stuff are you talking about?
it could be getting your face yelling.
Yeah.
I've had one gun come out in the house. It was
Yeah.
never pointed at us.
But just the presence is.
He just set it out on the table and I was like,
That's a
Yeah.
threat. We have DV dads, domestic violence dads.
yeah.
They're strong and they will get in your face. And if they've got an anger issue, they will not hesitate to come up and buck up to you and get into your face. And you've got to stand your ground.
You have to stand your ground.
Yeah.
If you back down, they know that they have power.
Amazing.
You're getting.
And when we're in situations like this, and I know at some point I've told these two that because that imagine how you would feel if someone came to your door and said, hey, I got a referral that you're neglecting your kids. I mean, it would upset me.
And not only that, but we're DHS. And what DHS is known for is taking kids.
Yeah.
It's not what we stand for, but it's what we're known for.
Right. The first thing I do is make sure that they understand, look, your feelings are 100% valid. If the situation was reversed, I would feel the same way you do. But I at least need to look at your kids, talk to you. I want to figure out how I can help you. And I've had parents look at me and go, you understand why I'm upset. Oh, yeah, I absolutely 100% understand, but I am not that kind of worker. Give me, we have to say it a lot.
We do, because you'd be surprised how much understanding it's going to get you in a calm voice. They come at you yelling. Okay, well, if you yell back, now what? Now you made it worse. They need to know that you are on their side. And it's important to notate, hey, we're not here to take your kids. We are here to assess their safety, and that is it. We will be in contact with further instruction after I'm done assessing that safety. But I mean, to remove, it's got to be a problem. It's got to be imminent. It's got to be life threatening.
Yeah.
And the kid has to be vulnerable. There's something we call SUVI. That's severe, out of control, observable, vulnerable, and imminent. And they have to hit all 5 of those criteria in order for us to even be able to remove.
Yeah. That's really interesting. Yeah. There definitely is, and I'm sure you guys hear it more, even more than us, but that discourse of acting like y'all are against families when really you're on the side of the children.
Yeah. And that's the thing. I look at parents and I was like, I'm here to help you, but my job is to make sure your kids are safe.
Mm-hmm.
My loyalty is with those kids, but I will do whatever I can. My boyfriend recently, he was on a Facebook site, and one of the big things is, well, you guys get kickbacks and bonuses for removing kids. No, we don't. We absolutely don't. And if I did, do you think I would spend hours? Like, I've spent up to 8 hours in a room with a parent trying to come up with a way to keep a kid out of custody.
We spent 12 hours on the road trying to keep a kid out of custody.
We did.
And then on top of that, there isn't a worker on planet Earth that's going to say, I can't wait to find placement. It's hard. It is hard. And
That's the worst.
And that takes hours. Like, you are in that office with those kids for hours.
Yes.
I don't think I
don't
have
want to do
been
that.
short.
God, no.
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 I haven't been shorter than 4 hours to find placement. For
Had a
a kid.
removal on call and got there at 3, didn't leave, didn't place until 11.
Yeah.
We were all day. We were there.
And those are the things that the public doesn't see, is the workers that, we try not to. Removal should always be the last thing on the table. Now, with that being said, are there situations where it's an automatic removal? Yeah. I mean, we can't help that.
Mm-hmm.
We absolutely, and I wish we could.
But you guys aren't the cause of why it happened.
We
Absolutely.
got people above us. We don't make that decision.
People above us sometimes get trumped.
Right.
Yes.
Told that we're going to do something different.
Right.
I had that happen just a couple of weeks ago. We had made a decision and we were not requesting custody. We just wanted, in order to produce the children, we just wanted to lay eyes on them and make sure they were safe. And judge and DA came back and said, no, we're taking custody. And I was like, can we talk about that?
That's something that's really interesting. I don't think a lot of people know, even with law enforcement too, they think that one person can make all the decisions. Y'all gotta call other people. It's not just you.
It's a lot of people. Yeah.
Yeah, like we call our supervisor calls the district director,
The district director, call the regional
director, and then from there we're
The
calling
DA.
the DA.
and the judge.
The DA calls the judge, and then the judge calls the DA back.
Parents like to think we get these orders out of thin air. And we have to legally take these kids.
Yeah,
So
we
we have to
can't
get the
just-
order from the judge.
You can't just walk into your house and say, okay, your kids are coming with me. That's not how that works.
Thanks, bye.
Having a sleepover? No.
And there's been multiple times I've been in a home, and I tell people I am the brutally honest worker. Like, either you love me or you hate me for that. I'm sorry. Either way. But I've had parents like, are you taking my kids? I don't want your kids. No, I'm not taking your kids. Absolutely not.
Right.
I got as far as saying, I want to do that paperwork.
That's a lot of work that I don't want to do.
And honestly, I don't say it to me. Okay, y'all. I just say, I don't want to put that out there. It's to make them laugh.
Yeah.
One of the other big things is like, I convinced a DA to give me 5 minutes to not. She gave me a custody order, and in front of an officer, and he was like, "All right, let's take these kids." And I was like, "Give me 5 minutes. Give me 5 minutes." And the DA's on the phone, and she's like, "What do you mean, give you 5 minutes?" I said, "Give me 5 minutes. I can get into this house and I can see those kids without a custody order. Give me 5 minutes." And she was like, "You have 5 minutes, and that's it." That dad opened the door and started to tell me no, and I was like, I have an order for custody of your kids. Let me in the house so that I don't have to do this. Don't make me take your kids, please. And he looked at me and he was like, you're asking me not to take my kids? What? And I was like, please just let me in the house. Let me talk to you. Let me see that the kids are okay. Let me get this under control so that this is not happening. Within 5 minutes, I was in that house. Kids were safe. I was able to call the DA and be like, I'm in the house. And she was like, okay, I'll call the judge. I'll call it off. I said, cool, thank you.
Wow.
Like, it was one of the, and that's actually what I was doing last week whenever we canceled.
I had a whole intervention that I had going on my side, and she's calling me talking about her dad. I'm like, wait a minute. I said, I'm talking down my own dad. Right? And I, again, just like she said, had to say, please put her inpatient so I don't have to take her and do it myself. Because at the end of the day, when she gets out of inpatient, she's coming home to you. Aside from if I take her, she's coming with me. And that was enough to make him flip and say, okay, let's do this.
And that, like, I had talked to the DA, thought I was just getting an order to produce. And that's when I called you and was like, I'm not going to make that.
So you thought you were getting an order to produce and they gave you a protector or a custody?
So I got an order to produce, and we presented it to the parents, and mom kept requesting a warrant. And so law enforcement tried to explain that a warrant is to search your home. We weren't trying to search the home. We just wanted to lay eyes on these kids, ensure that they were safe. And like language of the order to produce said that I was able to tour the home. I wasn't searching for anything. But she was under the impression that a warrant held more value than a order to produce did. And so she wanted a warrant. And so they shut the door on us. And I was like, no. And so I had to call the DA back and was like, I'm still standing outside the house. They want a warrant? And she was like, what? I was like, we tried to explain to her that that wasn't what we needed, that this is from a judge, that if she doesn't allow us in, not only is she going against a judge's order, but the next option is going to be custody. And I told them that multiple times. And then I got the order for custody.
It's always so disheartening.
It's always so just
Like, crap. I do not want to do this. We don't want to, y'all. We really don't.
No, we really don't. And I think that's also a big misconception that the public has. The public absolutely has a right to deny us access to their house. Absolutely. But depending on the allegations and depending on what we're told when we staff with our supervisor, we can go to the DA and we can get an order to produce. We don't have to have a warrant. There's a difference between a court order that says we are to come get your kids or come see your kids. And there's a difference between a warrant. I don't want to have to do that, but in certain circumstances, I mean, I've had to do it 3 times, I think. I don't like it, but a parent has that right.
I'll tell y'all a story. Brennan's first removal, y'all.
Gosh.
Brennan calls me. I haven't done a removal yet. This is how disheartening it is because I was like, what is wrong with you? I didn't understand then. She calls me and she said, I'm having to remove this kid. She calls me when it's done. She goes, Jade, I never want to do that ever again. That was the worst thing I have ever done. And I said, Brennan, it's the job. I didn't understand. I'm so sorry. Brennan, it is the job. It sucks. It really sucks. Because until it happens to you, man, I've been in my office. And I'm not kidding when I say that. Parent called me on the phone and I said, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Like, it was bad. And she didn't honestly me crying. Her mate helped a little bit. We were friends from then on. Yeah, it was bad.
And that's the crazy part. Like, either these parents love us or they hate us. Like, I have parents that I had cases on back in July that still call me.
Man, this is my favorite.
Yeah.
I'm like,
I have foster parents that call me after the kids have been reunified with their bio parents, and they're like, do you have any updates? How are they doing? Are they wonderful? And I'm like, yes, they're so good.
I love that too, because man, I had somebody call me right out of rehab. Like, and she said, hey, how are you? I'm great. You hated me when I sent you there.
You're like, oh, we love this new year. Do you have like a good or bad case that you guys think
I
about?
think we should do both.
Yeah. Okay. What can you tell us?
I get to start.
I think I know which one you're going to talk about.
Both of you do, because actually you went with
I
me
did
for that removal.
We didn't get home until 5 a.m.
We didn't go
I don't
home
want to
until
talk about
5
trauma. I don't want her again.
Yeah, that's the one time you went out with me on one of my cases. I've gone with you on a lot since then.
But then we get back and 5 a.m.
Okay. But, I have one that I spent a month trying to contact mom. couldn't contact mom. I've seen all the kids. Kids are okay. They're with another relative. Kids are okay. There's a lot of trauma. There's a lot that's coming out during my investigation. The allegations that were on my investigation did not even touch what I found out during it. And so these kids are just throwing things at me. And every time I see them, I leave going, what? What did you just say to me? I mean, my allegations were really just supposed to be that there was substance issues with mom who wasn't in this house. So cool. To me, these kids are safe right now. Well, then I start finding out that all of the children have been sexually abused and different things like
How
that.
many kids?
6. Yeah. Mom actually had 8 children, but only 6 were in this home that I was in with them. So
And where the other 2?
one is with another parent in a whole nother state, and the other one is no longer with us. But we learned all these new allegations and learned that mom was pregnant at the time and still using. It was just more and more that came out. And I think about that case every day. That mom calls me the whore from Barcelona. It will forever be my best title ever given from a parent.
All right.
In court. She was like, the whore from Barcelona over there. And I was like, I kind of like that.
Where did Barcelona come from?
I know. I was
Hey.
like, what?
It's a saying.
Really?
You
Was it really it?
You're looking it up. It's a saying.
Because me, I thought she meant the whore from Babylon. That's
No.
what I think.
Barcelona is a saying, everybody.
I'm looking it up.
Well, I really thought she meant to call me the whore of Babylon. And even the judge, after that mom got off of the call for court, that judge goes, Did she call you the whore of Barcelona? And I was like, yep. Yep. And she was like, all right. Every time I walk into that judge's courtroom now, she goes, the whore of Barcelona's here. Like, hello, present. Yes. That's how I got introduced to my last trial. I walked in for trial in a whole nother case, and that judge goes, whore of Barcelona, will you state your presence? And I was like, yeah, I'm here for the department.
Tell her hi. Come on, girl. My legs go next. Mine is not as good as hers, probably. Should I talk about Miss Sex Offender or should I talk about beat her with a shoe?
Oh my gosh.
Shoe. Okay, we're gonna talk about Miss Shoe.
Miss you.
Mine is an on-call situation. Man, boy. Okay, we had this little girl, and man, she'd been fighting with her mom, whatever. Get word that mom has beat her with her shoe, and I'm like, okay, what? Okay,
I probably got beat with worse. So I mean,
I said I'm on my way. Whatever.
Is it a flip flop?
It was a chocolate. Yeah. So I get out there and I'm assessing the situation. She don't want to go home for obvious reasons. Duh. So I'm working with the cops. I'm like, okay, well, let's just go talk to mom. She's not going to give us permission over the phone to let her stay somewhere else. So let's just go talk in person. Man, I get there and she's like, what do you want? I'm like, I am with DHS and your child, blah, 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 has this issue. And she is like, well, I'm not talking to you without a lawyer present. I'm not going to do it. And it's the one time I've actually gotten upset at her mom. And I'm like, you don't have to. That's within your right. But I want to tell you, if I have to remove her tonight, we're going to have to go through the court system. And that's going to be a whole can of worms that you're going to open. Rather than if you just cooperate me right now. She goes, no, I'm not going to. I would rather her be in DHS custody than have to come home right now. I'm like, what is wrong with you? and it's on body cam. She's like, yeah, I'm serious. I would rather her be in your custody and then come home. And I'm like, all right, well, let's just get this out of the way right now. Did you beat her with the shoe or not? And she goes, I told her I'm not saying anything with a lawyer person. I said, what lawyer? Look at where we are. What lawyer? I said, let's just talk about it right now, get it out of the way. She never does. I'm like, okay, cool. I'm so frustrated. Did I leave? I left the house. I left the cop. And I'm like, we're going to figure this out, mama.
How old was the little?
She was 16.
Okay.
And so there wasn't much I could do as much as I wanted to. She did end up going back home to the services. They're okay. Mom and I actually had an okay 3 shifts. We were okay. We gave each other a couple days to calm down after I yelled at her. And I told her on the phone, she said, when are you going to come talk to me? I said, well, I thought I'd give us a couple days because frankly, I'm not happy with you and you're not very happy with me. So I'll see you next Monday. And she was like, all right, sounds good to me. Cool. We can all figure it out and everything's good. But dang, I've never been so angry before.
Yeah, you called me. I heard her calling me. She's like, dude, I just asked this mom if she hit her kid with the fucking shoe. And I was like,
I said it just like
what?
But did you hit her with a fucking shoe?
I was like, you did not. Hey. And she's like, I did. I absolutely
It was
did.
3 a.m. He was in bed. I got work at 8 a.m. So I'm dealing with you not wanting to work with me. I got things and places to be.
I didn't know that was a thing.
This is my first on call. I'm still in the week, so I cared about what time I showed up to work. So I did not work at Andy's.
Forgot about that. You did care at the beginning about what time you got there. That was before we shared an office.
Yeah, that was back when y'all shared a cubicle.
That was when we first moved in together.
My high, though, is a really great high. I do have a great high. Also an on-call situation. Cleveland County. I worked with great law enforcement there. Truly. Actually, that law enforcement officer doesn't work with the police department anymore, but he's going to work somewhere else. He's awesome. We had a little girl who'd been severely abused by her dad for a long time, and nobody had been able to help her. No one. And I'm in there and I'm going back and forth because it's not our jurisdiction. It's actually Colson County jurisdiction. And so I am back and forth with not only law enforcement, but I'm going back and forth with her father. I'm back and forth with Tulsa County worker, and I'm also on the phone with my supervisor at the same time. And at some point, I've got my personal phone and my work phone. Tulsa County worker on here, supervisor on here. I said, talk to each other. I don't know what's going on. What ended up happening was I was able to quickly somehow place her with her aunt. And nobody had been able to prove it before because this dad was smart. He was meticulous. He knew where to hit her, and he knew when how hard to hit her because he knew that DHS couldn't intervene if there was no proof. And I still didn't have proof. But here was what it was. He threatened to shoot everyone in that family, including her, and mostly her. And he was extremely racist. She had several Black friends, and he hated that. And that night, he had threatened to shoot her. And so once I said that, it was all game. It was all over. And I'm doing placement, whatever, and I get it done. Everybody gives me hugs, great high fives. Thank you for doing this. Great. Man, 4 a.m. comes, and I get a call on my personal phone from law enforcement. Hey, what's up? Dad's on his way. No, he's not. Yes, he is. Okay, where's he going? He's going to Aunt's house. No, he's not. Man, Aunt had a gun by the door ready, waiting. Police stopped him a block up from that house, and I am already on my way back to Cleveland to come de-escalate the situation. I don't know how I'm going to because I don't know if you've noticed, but I'm Black. So I don't know how it's going to happen. Yeah, for those listening, I am African American, and that's another problem. Is that I've also, this is the first time that I've ever argued with my supervisor. She's like, you still have to talk to Dad. I'm like, I don't know. This is going to make it worse for her because I am African American. He is not going to want to talk to me. He won't. And he will do worse if we put her back in that home. Somehow, before I even get there, thank God, because it's 4 a.m., they have deterred father. They said, we will put you in handcuffs if you go to that house. We have done everything we could. We spent hours getting her that place. You are not messing this up for us. And he went and he turned and he went back home. And that is my greatest victory because I was actually able, with little to no evidence, get that girl out of that house and place her somewhere where she is loved. And I still get updates about her. She's great. She's doing awesome. It makes me happy every day. So yeah, that's my story.
That was a good high. You want to know my high? It's going to be bath salts. God.
That's your high?
That's your high? Listen, I love that mom. I've had her 3 times. I love her.
Yeah, she has.
She's wonderful. I love her. Hannah, you will love her once you hear this
Yes.
story.
Okay.
And honestly,
Yeah, like-
the officer that works this story with me reminds me of your husband every time I work with him. Now he's now my best friend in the Canadian County office. You know which mom I'm
I don't
talking
know
about.
which one we're talking about, but dang, does she want to die? That's insane. That's a lot of drugs.
She asked me if I could keep the cops from arresting her.
Didn't she also
Did. I was on the phone with Caitlin when that happened.
She's asked me several times if I wanted her bath salts.
It's all
I know this one is crazy.
All right, we're ready for it. Okay, so my high is a mom that I've had 4 times now. 3 times. 3 times. She's technically on my caseload again. She's fine though. She's wonderful. She's one of my favorite people. She calls me quite frequently. But my favorite story is the first time I went out to see her. Her kids were with their dad. They were already out of the home. I was happy. I just needed to interview her. But because she likes to use bath salts that are laced with fentanyl, I have to take law enforcement with me. So I show up with law enforcement thinking she's going to slam the door in my face and tell me to get lost and she's not talking to me. Heck no, she throws the door open. Not for me! Want something to drink? I got food too. You want me to make you snack? No, we're good. We're good. During this whole interaction, she all of a sudden looks at the officer and goes, do y'all want some Vaseline? I can get my dealer over here. And I'm like, no.
That's insane.
Listen, it gets worse. It gets worse. So I'm like, no, let's not do that. Officer's like, heck yeah, let's bring the dealer. I said, let me get out of this house before y'all call a dealer, please.
No, same.
Let me out. So finally, we decide we're not calling the dealer. And so a couple days later, she sends me a text. And she says, I think I'm going to jail tonight, but I've decided that I'm going to get clean cold turkey.
Against her will, basically.
And then, well, what's even better is that I'm in a group chat with the officer and her. Yeah. She just put us in a group chat between the three of us, the officer, me, and her.
Damn it, bath salts.
So then she proceeds to say, I have bath salts if you would like me to have them delivered to you. She is so caring, and she just loves me. She loves the gigs I give her. And I just responded with, I'm so happy for you. Please take care of yourself. And that was all. Officer calls me and he goes, watch this. While he's on the phone with me, he texts her and says, yeah, I have a house you can send them to. Sure enough, she has someone drop off the bath salt.
She wants to be y'all's friend so bad. You're just trying to throw her in jail.
Well, so I get her case again. This is my third time now having her. So I get her case again because Dad had dropped off the kids with her because she claimed that she was sober again and she wasn't. And so I had to go out there, tell her, hey, you're not clean and sober. We can't have the kids here right now. Let's get clean and sober and we'll work up to that. So she's all on board. Yes, absolutely. You're right. I wasn't clean and sober. I'm totally on board. I'm like, great. Awesome. I love this. I leave. I'm not even out of Oklahoma City yet. And she calls me. She's been pulled over. And she's high as a kite. And I have her on my personal phone and this client on my work phone. And she goes, can you tell this officer not to arrest me because you need me for your investigation? And she goes, hang on, let me just put you on speakerphone. See, she needs me for this investigation. And the officer's like, she'll be at county. I said, okay. And so she calls me from jail the next day. They really booked me. And I'm like, yeah, I know. I knew they were going to. And she was like, I'm just really sad that they didn't listen to me, that you need me. How are you going to get all of what you need? And I was like, girl, don't worry. I'll find you. Don't worry.
She's thinking about you this entire time. She's thinking about Brennan.
Well, don't worry. She also texted me off of the jail phones and let me know that there's bath salts at her house if anyone needed.
You can text off the jail phone?
Yeah. You can FaceTime off of the jail phones.
Yeah.
Nobody told me nothing. People TikTok from jail.
But
I knew that. I was wondering how they did that.
Yeah.
Because I'm on jail talk.
I need to hear your highs and lows.
Yeah, right now.
I think my low would be, it was my very first, and it was before either one of you started. My very first sexual abuse case, it was super hard. I had a young child that disclosed all kinds of, it was hard to sit and listen to a child talk in detail about what was going on. It was actually a holiday weekend too. We had a 3-day weekend and my boss came in because she didn't want me listening to the interviews and stuff by myself. And she sat with me. She actually ended up transcribing the entire forensic for me because it was really hard to listen to. But you gotta do what you gotta do. But yeah, that case will probably stick with me for the rest of my career.
It's that we have to desensitize from that.
Yeah.
We have to be.
We don't need details, but young child being abused by family member.
Mom's boyfriend. Yeah.
Did mom know?
Yes and no. Mom was very young, and I'm not defending her actions in any way, shape, or form, but it was hard for her to believe. But a lot of what we deal with in DHS, some of it is generational. It's happened to the parents, so in a way, they're desensitized to, and
it feels hard to norm.
Yes.
It's sad. And that's one of the saddest things to me, honestly, is because you go through histories and you go up and you find where it's them as the perpetrator. You go up a little bit more. It's them as the kid. And it's like, okay, it's a literal generational curse and they don't know any better. That's how they were raised. That's how they raise their kids. A lot of it is lack of education on how to properly raise your kid. They don't know
how to overcome some of the things that they endured as a child because no one stepped in, gave the resources that they needed and that their parents needed. So they're still not aware that these resources are out there.
Yeah.
Or it could be like reflection of their own trauma that they reflect onto their kids. This happened to me. I feel some way about it. Now I feel like you just because I'm angry.
I think too, some of them also, they don't know how to break the cycle. How do you break that cycle? It's hard.
Especially for domestic violence, I feel like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Domestic violence.
I feel like that's the hardest one for a lot of families is I watched my parents fight like this, so what's wrong with it?
And I think understanding that you live with someone 24 hours a day, 365 days of the year, you're gonna have friction. That's just the way it is. But there is a right and a wrong way to fight, and it's never okay. I don't care if you're a man or a woman to put your hands on the other one. And I've had I've had conversations with both men and women. Like, no, we don't put our hands on each other. No. It's not okay.
My first removal was the woman was the aggressor.
I actually had to give a woman a BVI.
Yeah.
Domestic violence assessment. It just basically says it's just kind of showing who the perpetrator is out of the two. And they give like lists of behaviors and they kind of show what abuse looks like in the eyes of the perpetrator. Did you do these things? Okay, well, then you might have been the problem. And it could be both of them. A lot of times, sometimes it is.
A lot of times it's mutual combat.
Absolutely. Man.
We see that more often than not.
Yeah, we do.
But honestly, I think a lot of people downplay that women can be the aggressors.
Yes.
I think we should bring awareness to that, actually.
We see a lot of female aggressors on men, and sometimes it goes the opposite way than what it should.
It's never taken as seriously.
Yeah.
No, it's not.
Yeah, especially when the man looks like, he can defend himself.
Same thing with female sexual predators.
Yeah.
No,
That's another thing.
And you took a psychology class, didn't you?
I did.
They teach you about how once upon a time, like they honestly believed that females were not capable of sexually abusing their child. Like they literally believed that it was not possible for a mother to sexually.
But man, it's the people closest to you. It always is. It's hardly ever do you see, this happened from mom's friends. It's, oh, this is my dad, or this is my uncle,
Or my
aunt. Yeah, that's crazy.
We've even seen like older adult siblings that have come back and sexually abused siblings.
Dude, yeah, those are crazy too. Then at that point, you've got to remove the problem from the household. How do you do that? How do you remove a sibling from a household when they live there? Everyone it's so severe that you got to lay eyes on those kids. Let's say we've got mom doing meth in the bathroom right this instant. Okay, we got to go. Lay eyes on those kids, make sure they're okay. Priority 2, this could look like, oh, it's a small bruise. They could be doing meth. I don't know. Let's give it 4 days. See. In reality, that system is a little bit broken because a P2 can turn into a P1 real fast and a P1 can turn into a P2 so fast. Because I've had more P2s turn into P1s than I had P1s go P2s.
Well, and even me, I have an assessment right now that when I first showed up at the house, I was like, oh, this is going to end up being a full-blown investigation. Okay.
Now, for an assessment comes before an investigation. So an assessment can go to an investigation, but an investigation not go down to an assessment. An assessment is what happens before. Basically, you're going in the house, laying eyes on the situation and saying, could be something, could not be something. And if it is, you level it up. If it's nothing at all, close it out as an assessment. You don't have to do as much. It doesn't require DA report, all the things. With an investigation, you're doing the whole 9 yards. You're doing the interviews. You're gathering medical records. You're writing the DA report. You're calling the collaterals. You're doing forensics, all the things. So we kind of want it to stay at an assessment level, but good luck with that.
I think it will. I think this one will.
I've had one assessment, only one, and it ended in a removal.
Yeah, that's nuts for you. I closed mine out as assessment.
No,
I don't have as many problems as you do.
like I just had a removal. I'm supposed to get the cases where
The easy cases.
The easy cases. Kids just need some extra resources. We're just making sure families have everything.
She must have had an easy case since I met her. No, I had a single easy case since I know.
I always get at least one case that everyone goes, huh? You did that? And I'm like, my bath salts case was just supposed to be that kids were not being supervised while they were playing outside and they were playing in the streets. And
We really got your regional workers are their flowers.
Yeah,
I'm not doing that crap. I'm not doing all that.
I might
do it.
When you know there's abuse happening, but you don't have enough evidence yet or enough reason to do so.
So that's that. So for child welfare, we don't have to have evidence per se. We have to have reasonable suspicion. And in each case, and this is part of the reason why I love this job and I hate this job at the same time, we have to have disclosures. Like we have to have, and it's not necessarily a parent, but we have to have a kid going, hey, this is what's going on in the home. But sometimes parents look at, yeah, we fight, we argue, we do whatever. But there are multiple cases I think that all of us have closed out where you know in your gut that something is going on.
Dude, those are so hard.
They are. They're the hardest cases because you know that we're going to get another referral. This is going to escalate. And at some point, we're going to intervene. But how damaged are these kids going to be in the process? And that's where it's so hard because, like Jade said, we have thresholds that we have to meet in order to remove a child. We can't meet one, we can't meet three, we have to meet all five. And we have to be able to articulate how we meet all five, because if we can't, they'll send those kids back home.
We removed some kiddos a couple of weeks ago, and I met all 5 safety thresholds. I mean, within 5 minutes of being in the home, I met all 5 safety thresholds. And
What did it look like in that situation?
yeah, so for the vulnerable, I had 3 kids all under the age of 5, but they were all autistic as well. So there's my vulnerable. It was imminent because it was happening right there. It was something that was out of the kids' control. And then for out of control, the parents wouldn't get. We had been out there 6 times, and we had 6 different referrals to go out there and check on these kids. And then for our observable, it was not only was it dirty homes, it was these kids had gnats in their hair. Their scalps were bleeding in places because the parents weren't getting care for them. And they told me that their 5-year-old should be brushing his hair by himself. However, he's also autistic. We don't understand that. That's a texture thing. That's something that we have a complete fit about. And so it was not something that was able to be done with that kid. And then for severe, it was to the point that we were needing medical attention, but parents were too afraid to go and get that medical attention because they were afraid that we would be out there. And so by the time we got to the child safety meeting, a different supervisor that was not my supervisor sent those kids back home. Said that if it had been her choice, that those kids would have never been removed. Within 2 weeks, we had another referral on that family, and those kids were removed.
Have you ever thought, if you get a call that a child passed away from abuse in a situation and you knew, but there just wasn't enough there, and then you go to court and everyone's, oh my gosh, we're so shocked, like we never saw this coming, but you did. Have you guys ever had a situation that maybe didn't lead to death,
like it?
Yes,
Absolutely. Duh. It's like I was just talking to another coworker about this, about me closing out a case where I know it in my gut there's something that's happened to this kid. And I'm gonna have to close it out. And then what's gonna happen? Yeah. I don't know. I don't know until we get an referral. Will it be too late at that point? I don't know. And am I gonna have to live with that? Absolutely. But I can't make a decision like that based on a gut feeling.
right.
Yeah. And that's where, you know, we do what we can to try and cover our bases and make sure that we're giving everybody the opportunity to, tell us what's going on. And at the end of it, when we feel like that, we do what we can to put them in services. Because if we can get them in with services, that's other eyes that are on these kids. Make sure that they're going to school, because the schools, especially Stillwater schools, like they are on it when it comes to even suspecting a kid being neglected or abused.
Yeah.
But they
for anything.
Yeah. Stillwater Schools is really good about that. But you have other schools that they don't ever call. And a lot of the teachers don't want to call because schools have put something in place now where the teacher has to tell the school that they've called in a DHS referral.
Put their name on the referral. Sometimes they don't want to.
Well, and that's the other thing. I mean, and I completely and totally disagree with that, because reporters are anonymous.
They are protected by
They
law.
are protected by law. They should not have, just because you call in a referral, everybody in the state of Oklahoma is a mandated reporter. There's just certain people that are held to that standard. And teachers are one of them, but they should, like I said, they're protected by law. They should not have to go to anybody and say, hey, I had to put on a referral.
Yeah. No.
Just in case someone says anything.
And sometimes schools will be like, I need to sit on this interview. No, you do not. And don't ever come to me saying that you want to sit on this interview unless you want to be subpoenaed by the court.
That's exactly.
And that's what I tell them. A lot of the time, it's counselors or principals that are like,
nosy.
due to our policies, we have to sit in on this interview. And I say, okay, are you prepared to be subpoenaed by court whenever this goes?
Are you ready to testify in a court of law under God?
The big man himself.
And that is a scary position to be in.
It is someone.
Bro, that is terrifying. What? Okay.
Yeah. So we've been there and done that.
It is.
It's not fun. And so sometimes we'll have counselors and principals that are like, cool, understood.
Right. Yeah, you are. Bye.
And sometimes we have counselors and principals that are like, okay.
I'm like, I've never had that
Okay.
happen to me before.
I have.
I had it happen one time, and it was a counselor, and she told me, she's like, well, I can get the kid to talk to me. And I was like, no, if the kid's going to talk, I promise you I can get them to talk to me. I have my ways of being able to talk to them. Yeah.
And we have to tell them, like, you can't interfere with our investigation. You are not allowed to ask any questions. You cannot interject at any point. And if you do, I will ask you to leave.
Oh, I've told attorneys that.
I've had an attorney have to step out of the room because he would not stop talking. And I said, this is not your investigation. This is not your interview. I'm going to have to ask you to leave. And if your client feels that they need to go with you, then they can. But you are not going to sit in on my interview anymore.
Do you ever have or have you guys encountered where somebody is repeatedly making reports, but they keep coming up unfounded and you're just not really sure?
Don't get
lie.
I hate that shit. I hate it. And I'm going to be explicit and when I say this, stop fucking doing that. What it comes down to is sometimes you get these custody battles. Testify for.
Yeah.
Hello. I hated testifying for that bullshit because I'm not on anyone's fucking side. My job is to be unbiased.
Our
And
job
if
is to remain on the side of the child.
And I said that in court on the last custody battle.
Man.
They said, so who do you think the child should be with? I said, that's not my decision. What I am here to do is be on the side of the child for their safety.
What really pisses workers off is when there is really, honest to God, no problem at all.
At all.
You are taking time away from me with children who have actual fucking problems, who are actually in imminent danger, and I'm in here dealing with your bullshit because she, doesn't feed her what you want her to feed? Okay. That's weird. Stop doing that. Stop doing that. That should be illegal.
Dad left talking to a 16-year-old child at home while he went out on a date.
How is that imminent? Oh,
they're 16. They have a car. They have a phone.
They know how to make food.
They can make. They had no disabilities. Like, this child was perfectly capable, and it was just a custody battle.
So there's no consequence for doing that. So calling her baby daddy like 14 times.
We still got
Because reporters are mandatory, they are not mandatory, but protected. No, there's no, you can't go down to the police station and say they filed a false report. You got to be able to document and prove that that was the person that did
We're
it.
not police.
And we can't tell you who called it in.
We're not police.
We can't even
find you for wasting our fucking time.
We can't even tell police who called it in. The only person who hides on us that gets to know the reporter, well, it's IGWA and the DA and the judge. Indian Child Welfare.
So if we have to notify the tribes if anybody has even suspects that they have any kind of tribal descent. It's federally mandated. It is a requirement.
I will say
There are certain states. Hey, it's not just Arizona.
an Arizona worker told me that they didn't have to follow ICWA. They didn't have to tell the tribe. And I was like,
I had to call freaking Navajo in Arizona to talk about how my family here in Oklahoma was Navajo.
that's where my case was at, is Navajo County.
I had a worker in Texas tell me that they didn't notify the tribes, and I was like, "Excuse me,
Do that.
Federal.
that's a federal law. That's
They
not
have
a
their
state-
own rules.
I
Have their own rules, sets of jurisdiction.
They can do whatever they want. I really thought that. I thought that was going to be your low.
Oh, I forgot about that.
That's what I thought was going to be your low.
Let's hear it.
That was a bad. That was
a
She
bad.
actually went with me on
She
that.
called me crying.
So let me start it. They call me in. My supervisor's out. They call me in to her supervisor's office and ask me to go out on on a case with her because there was a possibility that it could end up in a removal. So we go out there, we do our interviews because there's a certain point that I had no idea what happened because I stepped out of the car to talk to a client. So it turned into a deal where it was literally a battle between two counties over who had jurisdiction, and we had an ICWA worker with us. And so Payne County is getting a hold of that county, and that county saying it's Payne County's problem. Payne County saying it's that county's problem. And this is going on like for hours. Like our district directors are battling it out. They finally,
director.
yeah, the regional director finally had to get involved and say no.
It's my boss's boss's boss.
And so we're down in the car trying to figure out our next move. And I guess you need to take it from here because I have no clue from that
I don't know
point.
what the hell happened. I'm on the phone with my supervisor, and we've got Miss Ickwa in the car, and
this happened in front of a new worker too.
Yes, dear God, the woman that owned that apartment was mad as
she was hot. Yeah.
She was mad as hell because she had been taking care of that little girl and loved her to death. We get there, mom's like, "Yep, you smelled 4 days ago." I'm like, "Okay, well, we actually don't end up getting to interview her. She's pissed, and when she's pissed because Miss Ickwa has heightened the situation up to a level where it should have never been. And she left the house. I never really did get to interview her. She left. And so at this point, my ICWA worker is so upset. We have talked to everyone else that's in the house. She's calling my family a liar. I, to this day, do not think she's a liar. I don't think they were lying at all.
Lying about what?
So there was lying about whether or not she was allowed to have supervision or knew that she hadn't done her UAs yet. Mom doing that, lying about that. Well, the reason why she said they're liars because the ICWA worker already had these people. ICWA's had these people as a case currently. They had an open permanency case. Now I'm just CPS, so they got a new referral. So it's a whole different ballgame, whole different set of stuff. So she already knows the family. She's talking to him like she knows them. You're lying. You're a fucking liar. I'm like, wow, that's insane.
Yeah, we're all sitting there going, okay.
She's being dead ass. Anyway, everybody's hot and we go to the car. We're trying to duke it out, talk about jurisdiction. What are we going to do with this little girl? Like, someone's got to take her. Ultimately, it's going to be ICWA. It's not going to be us.
No.
We know that. Do they know that? No. Well, so she gets out of the car and that ICWA worker and me and my supervisor are on the phone. And she goes, "Well, I'm hungry." Bitch, okay. She's like, "I haven't eaten today." Okay. None of us have fucking eaten today. We've been here all fucking day. And she goes, "Well, since I haven't eaten it, I gotta go get her. I'm just gonna go get her." I'm like, "You're gonna do, excuse me?" Walks her ass up to that apartment, takes that little girl, makes that aunt's children bring her shit down with her and pack her up in the car. Mind you,
Traumatizing.
no fucking court order.
No one has custody.
No one
this
has
child.
custody of this little girl.
I get back in the car and I'm like,
kidnapping.
it just happened.
Yeah, well, she left. She left.
So I'm not there. She calls me in tears. "I'm going to lose it. I'm going to lose it. This worker just took this kid. No one has custody." And I'm like, what? What are you saying to me? Mind you, the kids in my house had court that day. So I'm coming back from Muskogee, Oklahoma. I'm not even here. And I'm like, huh? She goes, "I need you to get here in the next 5 minutes before I lose it." And I was like, cool. I'm 40 minutes out, but gotcha.
Boy, she was in there no time at all.
I'm pretty sure I made it in like 20 minutes.
So the fucked up part is that ICWA worker didn't say anything to that family to console them. She left. She took off with the kid and didn't say shit. I was left there. I stood out there for maybe the next 15 minutes just trying to help that aunt understand what the fuck is going on and what we're going to do from here. And just trying to make her feel better about now you can be an aunt. Stop being a mama.
Yeah.
You can be an aunt now.
And the sad thing is, I mean, like I said, I was sitting in the car going, what just happened?
Yeah.
Like, I have no idea what just happened. And she gets in and I was like, what happened? And she's like, I don't know. She just said she was hungry and took off.
She fucking left. And I
She's hungry.
never did see that little girl again. And everyone continued to text me after that. And I was like, this isn't my fucking jurisdiction. Please get off my phone. Like, I do not fucking like you. And I'll say that out loud. I don't care. She was the worst.
Like zero compassion.
Zero.
We've never had, like, we work real close with law enforcement. Do we butt heads sometimes? Absolutely. Oh, yeah. But at the end of the day, we all have a job to do. And I mean, communication goes a long way. Yeah, I know you're hungry. There's been multiple times where we've gone all day out in the field without eating because, I mean, I'm sorry, but I need to make sure this kid is safe.
Right.
Or I need to figure out what's going on.
Not eating all day won't kill you.
No,
It sucks. Yeah, I'm eating today.
Me too. Bruh.
I stopped at Wendy's on my way back.
What has been the most preventable tragedy that you have seen, and what could have been done to avoid that outcome?
What do you mean by that?
Anything. It could be that they got hurt to a level that the abuse escalated to a point that was absolutely awful to what it, you know,
I don't know if that's really happened in Payne County. I will say this. As far as Payne County goes, we've got a really good
fucking behavior.
Yeah.
They're on good behavior.
We as workers, like, we take our job very seriously, and even our supervisors will check us.
Absolutely.
Like if we're being if they feel like we're mistreating our clients or
Have a bias?
yeah.
Absolutely.
I've been checked for a bias.
Oh, I have too, multiple times.
It's not me. I'm really good at that. But
Oh, whatever.
I got one of your cases, and don't forget what you said to me. I'm so proud of you for being unbiased.
I am proud of you for being unbiased because in all honesty, in that situation, I don't know that I could have been.
Rochelle checked my bias. Rochelle checked my
I thought you
bias.
said Michelle. I said
No, Rochelle.
Yeah.
She checked my bias.
And that's the thing is that, we work well together. And the people in our office, we don't always get along.
God.
But I can promise you that I can call any worker in our office and say, hey, I need you right now. And it didn't matter what they were doing, they would be there. So,
Or they'd be doing the background work of
yeah.
and our DA reports and that removal that we talked about of mine where she went with me on the removal. She sat with the kid while we were trying to get that kid inpatient, and I walked around the hospital on the phone with her and another worker.
Her affidavit for.
Yeah, telling them everything about the case so they could type my affidavit because it's due at 9 a.m. And then the DA report was due at noon.
This is not an individual work. This is not
No.
individual work. This is a team effort. It does not matter. Yes, you do the initiation by yourself. You write the DA report by yourself.
And
At the end of the day,
Sometimes we don't even do the initiations by ourselves.
yeah, there's been times where you come with me, I'd come with you. But
Yeah.
it definitely is when you are in a field and you are in a moment and you're like, oh, I'm not talking with this kid. I need a safety plan right now. Okay, somebody's going to be behind the scenes helping you with that. Or doing that history, doing those background checks for placement. Like,
I've had a
it's still helpful.
removal and all the kids needed car seats. And once we determine that a kid is unsafe, you cannot leave that house.
Whole scene.
You cannot leave those kids.
Because if they leave with them, it's your ass.
Yeah, if you leave to go get car seats and that parent loads up all those kids and is gone, what do I do now? So at that point, I was stuck there. I needed car seats. I had 3 kids that all needed car seats. I'm calling every worker because I wasn't here in Payne County. And it was so hard being in a different county and not having my people. I called her and said, I'm at this house. I have no car seats. I don't have my computer, so I can't write my affidavit. I don't know what to do. She starts out writing my affidavit, and her supervisor calls another supervisor and says, get my worker car seats now. And I had car seats within the next 20 minutes.
Yeah. Because the thing about Brennan is Brennan's supervisor isn't in Payne County. Brennan's supervisor is
I don't-
body.
I don't know where my supervisor is actually out of, if we're being honest.
Brennan's family is with us.
Yeah.
Very much accepted in this.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I've had to make friends at other counties just for that reason.
Because,
Because I'm in a different county every other week.
but she also knows that if push ever came to shove, that, she's got me on speed dial. She's got Jay.
Damn right.
Like,
And they have
Jay
her
will
location.
call me and be like, hey, we're going to Canadian County.
Do you think pedophiles and sex offenders can be rehabilitated?
No.
No.
Easy fucking question. Absolutely not. Do you know why? Because much like everything else, it's an addiction. You've got access to it. But even if so, you've got like different versions of CSAM. It's like like age play shit.
Like CSAM.
CSAM is child sexual abuse material. You don't call it
Pornography.
You don't call it child pornography or it's CSAM. It's an addiction. And they will find it in other ways, if not the real thing, because it always starts with porn. And it always starts with that general liking, and it will grow and it will grow and it will grow. And if you constantly have access to that thing, you're not gonna get clean from it. It's like any other drug. No, I don't. It's specifically for that because it's not a drug. It's a mental issue that you think kids are attractive like that. I think you can manage it. But I don't think anybody's ever fully rehabilitated, ever.
I agree with that. I think you can manage it. I think certain people can manage it with the right help and tools. I don't think anyone can fully rehabilitate from it. Because you have to think about the toll it takes on that person too, the toll it takes on their own mind. Because a lot of child abuse, a lot of abusers will tell you that they don't want to think that way and that they wish they didn't. Especially those who truly do want better for themselves and for their kids and for their whatever child this happened to. A lot of them will tell you, I don't want to be this way. I don't want to think this way.
They literally cannot help it.
There's times when they literally can't help it. And there's times when they don't want to. They may say all the right things and tell you all the right things where you're like, okay, maybe you can manage it. And they can't. They don't want to. But I do think that some can manage it. I just don't think that they ever fully can.
And this is so hard to get past it. I feel like we had this conversation in training for the job in general. And it's so hard to think about because it's like, well, when you see someone who's like that, are you going to treat them like every other person? Because, I mean, there's people that have weird ways of thinking like everybody else. And if they're managing it and they're not actively doing it anymore, are you going to think of them any different? Well, absolutely. They're freaking thinking about children in a sexual way. Well, how is that fair then? Well, because they're thinking about children in a sexual way. Well, I don't care about being fair and benefit. It's a whole argument.
Yeah. And that's the hard thing about this job. You walk into a home and it doesn't matter what that person or those people did to that kid. I still have to sit there and talk to them with the utmost respect and treat them with the utmost respect.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm snatching kids, but not because I'm hungry, because I'm angry.
Call the popo ho.
Then they may help you.
922.
also, I think because as a society, we're starting to understand mental illness a lot more.
Yeah.
Thank goodness.
I'm hoping that at some point that they can finally break down that barrier for pedophiles and sexual abusers and help them truly overcome that, because deep down I will die on this hill. I still believe that goes back to a mental illness of some kind, and whether it's a childhood trauma or whatever it is, some sort of trauma.
That sort of fucked up thing that started.
Yes.
And that's why I hesitated whenever they were both like, absolutely not. I was like, I feel like the managed part was where I was at.
And when I say like it's an addiction, like I mean genuinely,
It is. It's absolutely. And sometimes it can be worse than drugs and alcohol.
Yeah.
So just to kind of voice maybe an opinion, maybe you guys can think about it. Back then versus now, it's so much more easy to access it. You can do the AI, you can do all the stuff. You can't even post pictures of your family without being like, okay, you know, some sicko took my kid's picture or even your picture.
Yeah.
And is like putting it in like these
I think
pictures in AI and
to be like some sort of evolution, because AI has just come into play where it is starting to get good like that. You can have anything you want and let it generate that.
Well, there was a whole case at a school where kids were creating AI pictures and videos of other students doing explicit things with teachers.
Yeah.
And it came out that none of those pictures were actually true. And another student had just created them all on ChatGPT on the school computer.
wow. Oh, that's like an extra.
They used yearbook photos.
Wow.
To have ChatGPT make the sexualized photo.
The internet is a scary place.
It
always has been, though.
But it's just getting worse.
I mean, my generation had Kick, goddamn it.
Your generation had what?
Kick.
Dude, I'm older than Google, so I don't want
You scroll through Kick and Omegle and you just got dicks. Like, they don't care who's on Omegle. I mean, Omegle's not a thing anymore. My 2012 people.
Yik yak.
Thing still, and that's not.
Wasn't that anonymous?
Yes. Well, at our school, it got bad, and they were posting like these things that were happening apparently in the bathroom between teachers and students, and it was all made up. And
I think
It's
I'm
bad.
still
What
learning
is
curve when
that?
it comes to the internet and trying to figure out where these chomos are.
Is there anything that you didn't get to say yet? Like if somebody is listening to this or just watched it, do you want them to go home thinking about one thing? Is there anything?
Yes, don't call and pay fucking calls. Thank you. All I have to say.
That we're to take your kids. We're not here to cause you hardship. And I know that that's what a lot of people see when we walk through the door is we're just here to disrupt your life. But that's not what we're here to do. We really want to offer resources and get you help.
Yes.
Any type of help that you need.
And remember that we're parents too.
Mm-hmm.
And while we're out making sure, especially like Brendan and I, while we're out making sure your kids are safe, our kids are being looked after by someone else.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, we're giving up our time to come and help you and your family.
Exactly.
So just keep that in mind.
When I say I don't have no kids, I got 12 kids right now. That's my kids.
Yeah.
And 2 cats.
Busy.
Boy and 2 cats. Oh, I'm not saying you have to accept us at your door, whatever. But genuinely believe us when we say we're just here to assess. We just want to see. We just want to work with us, and we'll work with you. Legitimately, we just want to help you.
And that's the easiest part is when parents will just work with us.
When they
Help you out then.
Help us help you.
That's all I want.
Love it. Awesome. I can't wait to hear y'all about that. I think that was great. Absolutely.